Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the YouTube channel that talks about cars and trucks and dogs and the geese for the pond. I only wish this pond would stay this nice throughout the whole summer until the lily pads come in. But look at that pond. That's just a beautiful pond. That's how it's been so many years. The lily pads took it away from me. So, good morning, everybody. Good to see you this morning. Appreciate you tuning in my channel where I can share my ideas and thoughts and views and excitement. Hopefully, right? Hey, come on, pups. Let's go. Come on, let's go, Wolf. Let's go. So let's get over to the barn here, get the day going. Got a really busy day. Long days for me now. When you're kind of short a helper, a worker, the whole business model changes. I'm sure anybody out there that's been a worker in life knows when a person doesn't show up to work, that day may just become a little more challenging because you're short a person. In my instance, yeah, I'm kind of the one-man show right now, which not totally, but somewhat. For the most part, I am. But I have other people that help me out on the weekend and do some things. I got my kid. But anyways, short. I think shortage is the conversation today. You know, I make so many YouTube conversations for me. Did I have this conversation maybe 6 months ago? I have no idea. Hey, let's talk about the shortages. Because wow, it's just incredible where we are in today's world, this country. Come on, girl, let's go. Come on. You're gonna make me be short in my time. I really have a very busy day. I'm actually about 45 minutes, close to an hour earlier making this video this morning. I just have too much going on and a lot of driving. Like today, come on, girl, Ginger, let's go. Come on, let's go. Ginger, come on. Will the lightning truck take me where I gotta go? I mean, today could be a 250-mile day for me. I mean, it's warmer out, I think, but at the same time, I got a lot of driving to do today. That's what I do now. I'm hitting 150, 200-mile days. I'm racking a lot of miles up on this lightning here. Working a lot. Truck, which is a great truck, really is. It's electric, and yeah, that's a whole conversation itself. So let's get the dogs in here. Let's get the morning going. And how do you not talk about the negative news? All the negativity from the Nashville thing, which I'm not going to get going on that rabbit hole on my YouTube channel. You know why? Because I can guarantee if I do, it might be a strike against me, which there's nothing gained from me talking about that conversation. Because here I'm already seeing on Twitter, people are being called out for supposedly giving a heads up of some things going on. So I'm not participating. Anybody who's watching my YouTube channel wants to moderate my content in that, you're wasting your time from this point on watching it because I ain't talking about it. Yeah, so anyways, get my camera here. So my thoughts were, let's talk about the shortages. And does that seem to be a common word in our media and business more than ever? And I think to myself, the Inflation Reduction Act, how I just am befuddled. How is the Inflation Reduction Act that has been put in place, how is it reducing inflation? I mean, is anybody paying attention to this new bill that was passed? And it's going to spur huge investments into the green agenda. And all you read about is the challenges of the green agenda. I mean, sincerely, of businesses coming online and getting things in order. Man, I'll tell you what, over here fighting my computer as usual. It just doesn't end with all this stuff. But anyways, yeah, so how does... And the Inflation Reduction Act, it's got incentives of billions of dollars for the automotive industry to convert their manufacturing here in our country, the battery manufacturing. And what really intrigued us was actually 2 days ago, I read this article about the electricians. I do a lot of electrical work myself, and And so I mean, I love electrical. I think it's, I mean, in fact, my daughter, she would be a great person for electrical. She's helped me do a bunch of electrical work. And that's a huge industry that's suffering from not the shortage of workers. And that was what kind of spurred the thought process here this morning was the conversation from the electricians being short. So kind of keeping the car theme to the state of times, I think to myself, boy, there's so much you can cover on the shortage of the car industry. I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, you can take that theme of the car challenges from what we all witnessed from the pandemic of the car shortage, from the car manufacturing shortage of supplies. I mean, it's the conversations we can spend all day talking about what's played out in front of our eyes. And what's kind of interesting is here you have a pandemic. Just kind of think this through. You had a pandemic that in just the regular ice age manufacturing created huge challenges. But now the Inflation Reduction Act and the Green Agenda with the imposing 2035 sanctions on states and countries that don't that quit selling ICE vehicles for EV vehicles, it's even magnified the shortage problem even more. I mean, it's who's steering the ship? I think to myself, Bar Rescue, Homestead Rescue, these are all these shows where you have the so-called experts come in to show a business owner how to run their business and put it back into being a profitable business. And the Homestead Rescue, that's about people wanting to live out in the wilderness, live off the land, and be self-sufficient, where the father and the son and the daughter go and try to help them become self-sufficient, living out in the wilderness, and they try to give them the right direction by doing things for them. I think to myself, where is the government rescue? I mean, all you hear, and so that statement there is misleading. So some be like, yeah, government rescue. The government bailed out GM. No. The government bailed out Dodge. No. Where is the individuals in our society that can rise to be to rescue this government that is obviously short in brains? I mean, short in competence. Incompetence, plenty. Because of what so the Inflation Reduction Act is once again, it's all about huge investments into electric vehicle manufacturing, electric battery manufacturing, and all I'm reading is shortages. So the car side of it, kind of keep the car side here. We all know a year ago the gas prices were the main topic on the media, 24/7 was the main topic. People overpaying for gas, and the second thing that was the main topic was you need to go buy an electric vehicle. And the car dealers for Ford and other manufacturers, not so much Tesla. I never really heard of Tesla. Tesla had challenges, but for the big Ford guy was kind of who I am, and that's the most I know of the knowledge because I'm their product basically. But the whole point is they had huge challenges trying to get these electric vehicles to the dealerships, and then poof, they were gone, and people paid crazy prices. Hello, yeah, hi, how you doing? Yeah, that's me, right? So there's a shortage of the Ford Lightning and the Ford Mach-E, but yet now there seems to be a shortage of people wanting to buy them. So it's a year later, the gas prices are back within what's acceptable to most people, but to me, I talked about it yesterday. For the people now that remotely work from home, you're crying about the gas prices when you barely even drive your car anymore. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. Whatever. I mean, I'm sorry. My heart ain't bleeding for you, man. I mean, I'm sorry. Your remote work has enriched you. I mean, the pandemic enriched so many people that continue to get their full salary. They used to spend 2 or 3 hours a day driving back and forth to work. They got to be able to sit at home. How much money did they save on their expenses? It was huge. That's why people went out and bought fancy bicycles, motorcycles, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. People went out and bought because they had all this extra cash flow. Yeah, now what's going on? There's a shortage of money to pay the bills. Oh, yeah. So this Lucky Lopez, this guy promotes a channel of the dire straits of the automotive industry many times. And not every video, but a lot of videos. And so his most recent video was that the car payments now, supposedly the average car payment now is $1,000 a month, just a car payment, and not including the insurance or if you have personal property taxes or parking fees, your maintenance, your gasoline, or your electric charging bill, or whatever it may be. So very, very conservative. You're at $1,500 a month. You're really more than that. I mean, in all reality, you're probably at $1,700, $1,800 a month. But we'll just say $1,500 a month. A person's now obligation, and his claim is people are short on the money, and they can't pay for them. So the banks are taking them back. But what's really interesting, I watched that video, and he went into great depth of what's kind of going on, and then he went to comments area, and it's classic. And you don't know what to believe, but as one guy posts, I'm a repo guy, and we ain't repoing cars much. And so Lucky Lopez actually reached out back and said, hey, can you help me out? Where are you located? What market you in? And the guy never responded. So, I mean, to me, it's just some person being a jerk, But who knows? I don't know. I mean, I'm not in that industry. If anybody has any friends that watch my channel that have, well, here's something I can tell you. The dealers I deal with, I have heard that many orders of these chassis trucks with tow truck capability, those orders went through the roof like last year because a lot of people are expecting the repo business to be big. But I don't know. I also hear, too, that the banks just don't want these cars, and they're doing anything they can to keep the people, to keep them. So you give the guy, a month or two of no payments and put in the back end. I mean, I had no idea on all that, but it's obvious people are, what's the next word you're hearing in the country? People are short on money. Why are they short on money? Well, because the investments, the stock market's short on money. The banks are short on money. And now the car dealerships, they're short on customers, right? I mean, that's the YouTube community. The YouTube community, what I hear is that you have these car dealers who supposedly they have a shortage of sales. I will tell you this, when I was looking at the Jeep over the weekend to buy that Jeep, and yeah, that deal ain't going down, but whatever. Like, that's the tier, jerker to me. How many Jeeps have I owned? Yeah, plenty. And for the record, a private meeting in Las Vegas apparently last week now is now out in the general public that Jeep has the new Wagoneer and Recon and the Ram truck. They showed the vehicles, and then they showed the Dodge Daytona Charger. And so right now for Jeep, apparently here maybe within the next 6 months, I don't know. They just showed pictures of the vehicles, and they're all electric vehicles. And Stellantis was adamant about how they're going electric on those vehicles. But here's the thing for my selling dealer. Oh, he was out there. That's right. You know what? That's funny. He told me last week he was out in Arizona. So he must have shot over to Las Vegas and done the show, and then went and hung out with some friends or something and played golf and stuff, I guess. He was out there in like Scottsdale, Arizona. I haven't had coffee. I haven't even had breakfast. I got a very busy day. Got to get the heck out of here. So anyways, he told me, we were talking about how, the market's changing all, and he said that, yeah, he now, for the first time since pre-pandemic, he has over 200 cars on a lot. Yeah, so his inventory has swelled, but even for him. And then I talked about how he has competition that's close to him that set up shop like 5 years ago. And yeah, he agrees that he lost. He's been shorted on sales. That dealership I'm talking about it's more of a rural dealership, not totally, but it's not in the big metropolitan part of the DC area. So it's never been a big volume dealer, but they've always been a good 350, 400, 440, unit dealer. And now, they're a 200, maybe 300, maybe selling dealers. So their sales are short big time. And one reason is because another Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealership set up shop, I guess about 8 miles from here, maybe 10 miles. It's really interesting. Back during the Obama era, when Dodge went through that whole cleansing of having to go through the bankruptcy and get reorganized, restructured, it's interesting how they forced Dodge to eliminate so many dealers so that it wouldn't be so difficult and challenging for the dealers to make their monies. Even though a lot of dealers weren't losing money, they got closed. That's what's so crazy. So they were short of their business model. I mean, I had friends that had the Dodge dealerships here, and I'm not lying. These people weren't losing money in their dealerships, but they were forced to close. So, but now here it is. You go, 12 years later, I just say a rough number of Dodge reorganizing itself and getting its act together and being under one roof. Because back in good old days, if you can say that, you would have a Chrysler dealership, but then you'd have a Jeep dealership totally separate from that dealership, the Chrysler dealership, or Chrysler Dodge, or the Ram. It was just weird in how you kind of Dodge and Ram trucks at one place, then in some other dealership be a Jeep dealership. So different owners of different, locations. And then the reorganization forced Chrysler Automotive Group to put everything under one roof. The Chrysler, Ram, Dodge, Jeep product line. And so anyways, so that now, 10 years later, right now, my immediate area, you have Tyson's Dodge, you have Brown's Safford Dodge, you have Fair Oaks Dodge, you have Ferris Dodge, you have Lindsay Dodge, and you have Leesburg Dodge. That's 6 dealerships that are, including down in Woodbridge. Go around the Beltway. Oh my gosh, but just within my reach of nothing dramatic to get to a dealer, which would be within 30-minute drive, 20-minute drive. I just named them all out. 6, not even including, you have to go out there to Winchester. But anyways, wow. So what happened to that business model, right? So then I think to myself, the amount of dealer now the Europe is saying to America, they're going to be short on infrastructure for electric vehicles. I don't buy into this, but it's kind of being thrown out there that all the automotive EV manufacturing is coming here to this country. It is factual. Right now, there's no doubt, Stellantis is setting up shop with the new manufacturing. Toyota is setting up shop with new manufacturing. Ford is setting up shop with new manufacturing. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai. Those are just off the tip of my tongue of what, as we speak right now, brand new facilities, brand new manufacturing plants are being built in this country over the next 2-3 years to put in the electrical vehicle infrastructure manufacturing. So here's something I already knew. If you follow my channel, I talked about this last summer when I bought my F-150 Lightning truck, and I did that. There's my coffee in my gourd. Isn't that ironic? It just irritates all your gourd, but I need my coffee. I got to get going. So the number one complaint I had going down the road on 81 with my F-150 truck was the charging stations aren't reliable. If you watch my video, I talk about that. Well, sure enough, they're now doing, the reality's coming to light more and more. There are so many people out there that will raise their hand and say the biggest over-the-road challenge for these electric vehicles is not so much finding the charging station, it's finding the charging station where the charging station works. And there's a guy just wrote a whole article on him doing a big road trip in his electric vehicle, And he said, the challenge was most of the time you go to these charging stations and they have 4 chargers and one's working. And so it turns into an hour and a half to 2 hour plus ordeal, at least, to stop because you have maybe 2 or 3 people ahead of you charging their vehicles. So because the charging station infrastructure has a shortage, in my opinion, of workers to support these charging stations. I so thought to getting that industry so many years ago, but there's just no money there. It's going to take so long for you to invest that type of money to reap the rewards. Will it ever even happen? I don't know. I mean, it's just a short. You just have to have the stupid money of the $1 billion open checkbook to do. That's what's going on. But one comment that's always consistent is the Tesla charging stations are the most resilient, but once again, it's Tesla's own product, it's Tesla's own infrastructure. So, but that's what people claim is that you go to find a charging station for your car, like Electrify America, and most of the time you had challenges. But yet the Tesla charging stations seem to always be working. Yeah, I believe that, but at the same time, I mean, I can believe that more so because it's a Tesla brand product, but the shortage, So once again, kind of going back to my conversation about the Inflation Reduction Act. If you're watching my channel, yesterday I talked about the metals, on how there's a huge problem on getting electrical metals that that interface with all this electric vehicle technology, and that's a huge expense, very expensive. And that's what I was saying, is that how are we having an Inflation Reduction Act when all you're hearing about is how expensive these rare materials are? And I even talked about it a while back about the nickel, carbon, manganese is a very expensive, the NCM battery is very expensive, and it's Russia reliant. So we want to go to the phosphorus, iron, lithium battery, because of it's going to be less expensive material, but it doesn't give you the same quality battery. It's a heavier battery, doesn't go to long range, doesn't have the same power, but it's to try to help cut down the cost. So, but there's a shortage of infrastructure of that design, and that's what I was saying earlier about the electrical contractors, electricians. Their number one gripe is right now is they don't have enough people to help them build out this whole electrical infrastructure that's being mandated by the Inflation Reduction Act. That goes beyond the cars. It's going into the heat pump systems where we're wanting to get rid of gas stoves. So for electrical, upgrade electric stove from a gas stove, you're going to need an electrician to come in and do that usually. And then for the heat pumps, to get rid of the natural gas to heat your home, to electrical heat pump, you need an electrician. And then the people who are buying electric cars like I did, I know how to do electrical work, so I was able to put my own electric in. But if I want to go to the supercharger, then I have to get all new wiring brought in. So that's out of my realm because the power company has to do that. So, but it's talking about, these electricians talk about how they are 5 to 6 months booked out right now, and their biggest challenge is they can't find help, and they're just having to turn away work. But also, it's expensive, So they'll tell you that the $16,000 bill is now $20,000, and so you kind of go back to the automotive side. I was reading about Toyota, who's still, even though Toyoda, the grandson of the founder, just has stepped down to be a chairman on Toyota, his successor, he's still kind of not just jumping up and down about everything being totally electric vehicles. So Toyota's still not hybrid, the gas, ICE, I should say the ICE electric combination, which I think that's a great combination. I just can't believe that more automotive manufacturers aren't demanding that they're going to have a portion of their electric vehicles and they're going to have a portion of hybrid vehicles. Why wouldn't they build that business model? It's ridiculous of what's going on And that's what I said earlier. It's like the Bar Rescue and the Homestead Rescue. Where do we find these leaders that can rescue this country from the incompetence of these politicians and these green agenda, nut jobs? And Greta Thunberg, she's just got the approval to sue Sweden because it's not in part in her views of the environmental green agenda's policies and advancing the green agenda movement quicker than she can, have her next birthday. I mean, beyond believable. It's just incredible. Even conversations now of these very small countries that are pointing the finger at the big guys, China and U.S. are the problem, and they're being brought into the problem, but they just don't have the monies or infrastructure to try to update their countries to be more of a greener agenda environment. So they want the big guys to start paying their countries to put things in order. Wow, I mean, so the Inflation Reduction Act, how is inflation being reduced? Isn't help me out here, everybody. I mean, I guess I'm just incompetent. I mean, okay, I'll raise my hand, dude. You're just not that smart. Okay. Inflation Reduction Act? Doesn't reduction mean you reduce something? I mean, so how is the Inflation Reduction Act? Oh, wait a second. Oh, in the future, things will be less expensive. Hey, man, come on over to my house. You do a ton of work for me, and you know what? In the future, I'm going to pay you, okay? Yeah, in the future, if you want to come on over. Hey, you know what? I have a job opening, and I'll hire you. And you work for me, and in the future, I'll pay for you. How about that? Huh? I mean, this is where we are in today's society. It's all about the future. The future. I talk about that in my other videos. That wow, it's beyond believable. So back to electricians. Electricians are point blank raising their hand that they have huge challenges of the green agenda movement, the Inflation Reduction Act. If everybody and their brother is getting caught up in this. And they just can't, keep up with it. Here's another interesting thing. They apparently some research company did an interview of 600 supposedly expert automotive analysts of engineers, engineers and manufacturing and marketing and blah, blah, blah. And so the topic was the EV movement, the realization of the EV vehicles coming to be like they plan them to be by 2035 in the masses. And a majority of them are pretty like they just can't see it. They're just like, they can't see the timeline. They're setting this stuff being viable. And yeah, then there's a certain few that are like, oh, by any cost, by any means, we will get this done. And that's the danger. You see people get so riled up on what they think is right versus wrong, and they force their hand to the point it becomes violent. Yeah, we just witnessed this. I ain't talking about it, but we just witnessed this. The people didn't agree with somebody's views and ideas on life, and since they didn't, somebody became very violent. And this goes on in governing bodies and businesses and policies. And you can look at the I talk about this all the time. The area where I live, Metro, that has spent millions upon millions to build out a whole metro rail system that comes out to my area now, that's for the most part empty and is losing money by the droves because of people talked about the future of that, but they never stopped to think themselves that there'd be a pandemic, and they never stopped to think themselves that people could remotely work from home. I mean, the list goes on and on, the variables on that. I mean, yeah, somebody say, yeah, but 10 or 20 years from now, that could have a lot of passengers. All right, hey, come to work for me. In 10 or 20 years from now, I'll send you a check, all right? I mean, this is where we are. I mean, beyond, oh my gosh. Wow. So the shortage, I think we have a shortage of truly in-depth people that know how to process information, that are ruining this country. In fact, pretty cool YouTube video. And it was just too late. I just couldn't watch all of it. And I really wish I would have delved more into it. But apparently there's a YouTube video out there from CBS Morning Conversations where this young man interviews basically the godfather of AI. that back in 1986, he was like one of the original guys that started the artificial intelligence. And what's so neat about that? This is no lie. 1986, I went from working out in the field for this oil company I worked for, of driving tanker trucks and a maintenance guy. I was brought in to be an assistant manager of a home heating oil company. And I can to this day remember being given this little DOS-based, it wasn't little, but I was given this DOS-based computer, the vanilla-colored and green screen and a vanilla-colored keyboard, and I had to start entering data of the customer base. And so I remember 1986, that's when I really, even though when I worked in the automotive parts industry, I started using computers for the, writing up tickets and finding inventory. But this was the first time I really just relied on me, more of an independent individual working behind a computer and building a database of our customers and building it was called degree days or whatever, how you monitor the use of somebody's home heating oil. You put them on an automatic refill. And you had, I can't remember the term, but it's all based on the temperature. There's all these variables you can enter into a computer. We could figure out when a person would have another refill without their tank running out by the size of it and blah, blah, blah. So this gentleman, he claims that back in 1986, he was able to create artificial intelligence in a very, very, very small way of recognizing and understanding 104 things. And then he got it to recognize and understand the computer and understand things by 120. So this guy here, it's a 45-minute video. If anybody wants to Google on YouTube, I think it's a really great informative video, because now I'm hearing that a lot of experts are saying this OpenAI needs to be put on hold. They're like, we need to slow this thing down because it's getting ready to go to a whole other level, that where the fear of artificial intelligence becomes just very devious and very mean. The demons of the artificial intelligence. All right. Very busy day. Give me like 30 minutes of my time this morning. Hope everybody's enjoying the videos. And once again, it's to me, I think we have a shortage of competence in our country that's just really just. Oh, I was going to bring that up. The new Toyota guy, that's what I was talking about, the new Toyota replacement young man that's running Toyota. So Toyota's business right now is apparently Toyota and Lexus, they are short in supply of cars still. They can't keep cars on the lot. The average Toyota car is on the lot 5 days. Lexus is 10 days. So their challenge right now is the ongoing shortage of getting cars to dealerships to sell. But their average price of a Toyota apparently is $40,000, not like the 45, 46. But the new CEO is all about the average price in the Toyota, where the technology is going, is going to be $50,000. And it's not going to be a big deal because it's all the technology of hybrid, the gas. There's a lot of talk of them bringing the solid-state battery, the hydrogen, a lot of things that Toyota's kind of seeming to try to be different and independent from. They're not following everybody down the path of what could be a failure. I mean, I don't know. And once again, here we are with this EV movement, and I truly believe there's a shortage of people. Oh, I'm going to wrap it up, but here is Electrify Expo. Okay, so here's something that's going on. Here's this guy that back in 2019 created a traveling Electrify Expo to help train people on why you should be excited about electric vehicles. So it's grown, substantially, where this year it has 7 shows. One will be here in the D.C. area, L.A., New York, Chicago, and you can look it up, Electrify Expo, and it's all about promoting electric vehicles. So where's the ICE Expo? Hey, that's the Car Sunday meet, right? With me showing you videos, right? Hey, everybody, appreciate you following the channel. Appreciate the nice comments. And share the info. Tell your friends about me. I don't know. Whatever. Tell them, hey, check out this guy's YouTube channel. He seems to talk sense, or does he? Or you can use me as like, geez, I wouldn't be like that guy. I mean, as I tell people on the field, guys like, You know, I have this car addiction. I look at them like, really? How many cars you got? Like, I got 4 cars. I'm like, really? I'll help you out. You just go to my YouTube channel and have your wife watch me, and she's going to look at you, and she's going to look at you like, wow, all these years I thought you were the problem. Wow, look at that guy. Yeah, that guy's got a problem. Yeah, you're right, honey. You're pretty good. Actually, you're pretty stable. All right, everybody, thanks again. God bless. Stay safe. Stay tuned.